ABADATA is a managed service provider of security, telephony, server, and desktop services. These short instructional videos are produced as a service for our customers. If you have any questions regarding this video or any other, please contact ABADATA at 989-883-3411 or visit us on our website. Thanks and enjoy the video. Hello and thank you for checking out ABADATA's video on transferring a SkyTalk telephone call. SkyTalk is one of two hosted telephone systems that we sell, although the basic steps in this video should work for almost any hosted telephone system. The first distinction that should be made is there are two different types of transfers. While they are essentially the same, the results may be different for both the caller that you're transferring and the person receiving the transferred call. The key to this is knowing and understanding the people that you are working with. While I'm not able to go into depth as to why or how to use each one, it is important to understand each. Attended call transfers are frequently used when we want to show a little extra care and consideration. We want the transferring person to have that feeling of white glove service. It also gives us a chance to let the person that the call is being transferred to know the situation so they can just have a few seconds of preparation for the call. Unattended call transfers are more or less just dumping the person off at the extension that the call is being transferred to. This could be used in situations where both people know each other, and it would be more of a hindrance to give white glove service than a help. Let's get started by showing the attended call transfer scenario. Here we have our caller Nick. He's calling his professional phone supplier, ABADATA. Melissa on the right answers the phone. Melissa, a professional at what she does, knows that the call should be transferred to Lindy, who can better help Nick, so she carefully guides Nick through the transfer process. Melissa starts the transfer by pressing the transfer button. On some phones, this is a physical button, and on others, it is a soft button or touch screen button. Once Melissa has pressed the transfer button, the call is placed on hold automatically, and Nick hears ABADATA's hold music telling him about all the services that we offer. Melissa is then able to dial Lindy at her extension. Lindy answers the call from Melissa, and Melissa is able to give Lindy some details about Nick's call. Melissa then completes the call by hanging up or pressing the transfer button. Note that on some phones, especially phones with touch display, there is no transfer button, and hanging up completes the transfer process. Now let's look at the unattended call transfer. Here we have our caller Nick. He's calling his professional phone supplier, ABADATA. Melissa on the right answers the phone. Lindy has told Melissa that if Nick calls, put him right straight through. After greeting Nick, Melissa starts the transfer by pressing the transfer button. On some phones, this is a display button, and on others, it is a physical button. Once Melissa has pressed the transfer button, the call is placed on hold automatically, and Nick hears ABADATA's hold music, telling him about all the services we offer. Melissa is then able to dial Lindy at her extension. Instead of waiting for Lindy to answer the call, Melissa simply hangs up. When Lindy answers the call, she is speaking directly with Nick. Her caller ID display also reflects that it is Nick on the phone. Lindy answers the phone, and the transfer is complete. Here are our two phones. The phone on the left is the Yealink T29G and its extension 105. The phone on our right is the Polycom VVX500 and its extension 101. From an outside line, 989-883-3411, I have called the two phones. Both phones ring, which is not mandatory for a transfer. It is just the way the phones are set up for this demonstration. I have answered the call on the left extension 105. Notice that the display on extension 101 is just the normal on-hook display, and the display on extension 105 has the incoming call on it. I next press the transfer key on extension 105 and dial in extension number 101. Extension 101 rings and is answered. Both extensions 101 and 105 are speaking to each other while the outside call sits on hold. At this point, the answering extension 105 can speak with the destination extension, informing them of the call. Finally, transfer is pressed on extension 105 to complete the call transfer. Extension 105's display on the left returns an on-hook status, and extension 101 has the call from the outside. This completes the announced transfer. Next, we will demonstrate an announced transfer from the Polycom VVX500 extension 101 on the right to the Yealink T29G extension 105 on the left. The call will again come in on both extensions, but I will answer it on the right-hand Polycom telephone. Notice the display on the right-hand Polycom telephone is our outside call, and the Yealink on the left is our normal on-hook screen. Next, I press the soft button transfer key on the Polycom telephone and dial in extension 105. I use the pound key to tell the telephone to place the call immediately rather than waiting for the standard 4-second key timeout. Extension 105 rings and it is answered. Both extensions 105 and 101 are speaking to each other while the outside call sits on hold. At this point, the answering extension 101 can speak with the destination extension, informing them of the call. Finally, transfer is pressed on extension 101 to complete the transfer. Extension 101's display on the right returns to an on-hook status, and extension 105 has the call from the outside. This completes the announced transfer. Now I'll demonstrate how to make an unannounced transfer from the Yealink on the left to the Polycom on the right. From an outside line, I have called the two phones. Both phones ring, which is not mandatory for a transfer. It is just the way the phones are set up for this demonstration. I've answered the call on the left extension, number 105. Notice that the display on extension 101 is just the normal on-hook display, and the display on extension 105 has the incoming call on it. I next press the transfer key on extension 105 and dial in extension number 101. This time, instead of waiting for extension 101 on the right to answer, I simply push the transfer button. The display on extension 105 on the left returns to normal. Extension 101 rings, and when it is answered, the outside caller is speaking directly with the person on extension 101. Notice carefully that the display on extension 101 has the caller ID of the outside caller. You may have noticed that with the announced transfers that the caller ID of the transferring extension is displayed. This is just a feature of most hosted telephone systems. This completes the unannounced transfer. Now I will demonstrate how to make an unannounced transfer from the Polycom on the right to the Yealink on the left. From an outside line, I have called the two phones. Both phones ring, which is not mandatory for a transfer. It is just the way the phones are set up for this demonstration. I have answered the call on the right extension, number 101. Notice that the display on extension 105 is just the normal on-hook display, and the display on extension 101 has the incoming call on it. I next press the transfer soft key on extension 101 and then the blind key in the upper right-hand corner, and then dial in the extension number 105. The display on extension 101 on the right has already returned to normal. Extension 105 rings, and when it is answered, the outside caller is speaking directly with the person on extension 105. Again, the display on extension 105 has the caller ID of the outside caller. This completes the unannounced transfer. I would like to thank you for watching this video on transferring a call on both the Yealink and Polycom handsets using the SkyTalk service from ABADATA. If you like this video, be certain to check out our other videos on www.abadata, that's ABADATA.TV. If you are considering hosted telephone service anywhere in the United States, be sure to give us a call at 989-883-3411. Also, check out our website at www.abadata, that's ABADATA.com. ABADATA is a nationwide hosted and on-premises telephone service provider.